Okay, as yesterday we discussed, we were talking about importance of parental coaching, parental coach, why it is needed. Even if we have great intent, even if we are good parents, great parents, still there are a lot of areas which we are not aware of, we may not be mindful about. And a coach's job is to make us effective and make us mindful. So yesterday there was a question which was related to coaching, counseling, and when we talk about this role, definitely they may have a lot of apprehensions about it. Who this coach is, and I'll be today's discussion will be dedicating to this role primarily. While talking about that role, we'll also talk about a lot of aspects of parenting as well, and which parent coach has to address. So this term is not new to you, I'm sure. Coaching as a term, you have heard it so many times. Yes, I can assume that you know this term. You have your own view on what is coaching. Yes, and I
Yes.
need to know what is your view on this word, coaching, and who's a coach in your language? What do they do? What is coaching?
They guide each and every step.
Wonderful, good. So my voice, am I audible? My video is working
I think your video is freezed.
now.
I'm not sure, but yes.
Yes, is it for everyone that my video is frozen?
You know your video
Yeah, it
and
is. Yeah, video is frozen for me also.
Yeah, video is frozen.
and your audio and your video are not matching.
Not matching now.
Sync is not there.
At least audio is
Yeah.
in sync. Audio is listening to you because
No, sir, it's
maybe
still not matching.
my audio is audible to you
Yeah,
on my video.
audio is fine.
Yes,
Yeah, audio
Okay,
is
yes.
fine.
that's great, wonderful.
Audio is
So,
fine.
so the first view which I got from Pallavi is that coaching is guidance, which is a very like first thing comes in mind when we think of coaching is guidance. So I hope you all agree with Pallavi that when you think of coaching, you think of guidance.
Yeah.
The coach acts as a guide. Good. Any other view?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Any other view? Who's the coach?
Coach is
Find out
some
the problems.
The one who finds out the problem or resolves the problem?
Individual,
So, find out and
the
then
one who resolves the
resolve the
problem.
problem.
The one who,
Individually train a person.
okay, the coach is the one who find out the problems and then they
I mean, as
resolve the
you said
problem.
yesterday, right, right.
Can motivate
The
person
one who motivates
or push.
when coachee is feeling low, they are feeling failed. They also motivate them. Taken?
Yeah.
Good. Then
Yeah. Yeah, motivate. Yeah, motivate.
any other view?
Our coach teaches us the right way, like to do things in the right way.
Absolutely. So they help you see that right perspective. They show you the right path. I take your point. Good.
coach is someone who is expert in the field, and yes, followed by other points. That is.
Okay. Is it mandatory that they shall be expert in that field?
So your voice is
So repeat your
cracking.
question again.
Is it mandatory that they shall be expert in that field?
No, not necessary. Not necessary, not mandatory. They can be a
They
good
should have
motivation.
proper knowledge.
So they are experts. They are experts in that
One
thing.
by one
I
we'll
feel
go.
that.
I'll tell you
I
there are
mean,
two
they
ways.
are coach that they are coach and they're there to coach and guide everybody else. So what I think is they need to be an expert in that in their field also, no?
I take
I
your
mean,
point.
there's someone
But
who is not expert and is expected to coach somebody who is already not an expert. That does not match. That doesn't
I,
sync in my
I
mind.
I take your point. But something which is different, being knowledgeable and having an experience of that
Mhm.
job, both are two different things.
Yes.
right? So I take your point from a perspective that they shall be expert, that they need to have good knowledge about the subject. They need to have multiple perspectives. But do they need to be expert in the role as experience is concerned? Neha, what is the age of your child?
Yes, yes.
What is the age of your child, Neha?
One is 9-year-old and one is 1.5 years old.
One is 9 years old and one is 1.5 years old. As a mother, you don't have
Yes, sir. Mhm.
experience yet to train to raise a teenager. Am I right? You haven't yet got an experience to raise a
Yes,
teenager.
yes, sir.
But at the same time,
Yes.
if you are a coach, you can help a family of teenagers.
Hmm.
Yes or no? If any one of
Hmm.
you is raising a
Yes,
toddler
sir.
at home, you can help a
Mm-hmm.
parent who has a mid schooler. You can also help a parent who has a teenager, even if you don't have experience of raising a teenager yet. That means you shall be knowledgeable, but you mandatorily not to be experienced in that. Are you getting my point?
Uh, yes, I am. True.
They could be like there we have some coaches, those who are not even parents, but they're doing coaching in amazing ways, but they're not parents. Now,
Mm.
what makes them without experience, how they can be great in their profession, right? It's not out of their expertise in that experience, but definitely they have knowledge, they have thorough understanding, they have their
Yeah.
own perspectives, right? So that from that perspective. So I buy a point that we need to be expert from the knowledge perspective, but they may not have experience in it, right? Because then many of us will be feeling
Mm.
that if I'm not a
True.
parent of a teenager, how can I help my parent of a teenager? If I'm not a parent, how can I help in parent coaches? You can.
But yes, how do you then and then to your to I mean जो आप कह रहे हो वो सही है. I accept your point and I'm understanding. But then how do you tackle a situation
How
wherein
we will be
which
helping, and
parent is coming?
that's we will talk about. That is what we are going to talk about. What
Okay.
makes us different and how we are going to project ourselves as professionals, even if I'm not a parent. Even if I'm raising a toddler at
Mm.
home, how can I help a parent of a teenager? What will help them at that time? And that's your perspective. That's your professional approach. Understood?
Mm.
That we will be discussing. But I buy a point. Any other point? Who is
Okay.
a coach? Coach is a guide. Coach help people resolve problems. Coach is an expert. Any other view?
He trains the individually. He knows the how कि, किसको कितना क्या करना है. He is individually train the person.
Wonderful. So coach also act as a trainer. That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
They act as trainers. Wonderful. Good.
Sir, coach can help to form strategies and also give a new understanding and perspective to the situation to the parents.
That's interesting. Very important. The coach job is to introduce new perspectives to parents, right? So I take your point. Good. And I'm sorry today because I don't know why my internet is
I
not
have also
supportive.
think
So if you will not hear me properly, please update me so that I can do something with the internet. That is my video is off. Yes, Aniha, go ahead.
can we also say that I don't know, I think I missed the point maybe because the
Hmm.
voice is cracking a little bit.
Hmm.
But can we also say that coach is someone who is also a motivator? I mean, someone
That's
who motivates.
yeah. That's what someone highlighted that when a parent
Okay.
will be coming up failing to you, they try something and they fail. When they try
Hmm.
something and they fail, they will be they will be low. They will be feeling low at that time. Coach many a time act as a motivator to assure that if you
Mm-hmm.
use this approach, it will work. So yes, they act as a motivator also sometimes, but we can't say that every motivator is a coach. But coach definitely act as motivator sometimes. Taken? Any other view?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the coach? There's a very interesting term which I'm expecting from you if anyone can bring about coaching. If you ever heard of a term called facilitator, how many of you heard of it? Facilitation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Heard it.
Heard it? I'm sure many teachers nowadays, it's a new term to them. They are asking you to be a facilitator in class, not to be teacher only, not to be trainer only, right? And this facilitation is a
Your
term.
voice is cracking a lot.
Is it? Just a minute. Give me a moment. Just a minute. Is it audible now?
Much better.
Yes.
Audible? Chalo, that's great. So we were talking about facilitation. Facilitation. Now it is audible, na? Good. So when I'm talking
Yes,
about
sir.
facilitation, facilitation is a new term. I'm sure you may be maybe listening to this term in school now, in teaching, in training. They're asking that you shall act as facilitators, then only a trainer. And this is a term which is very prominent in communication. It's a communication term. That's what they are asking, that coaches shall have a pattern where you are not imposing your ideas on others. If Marga highlights that I am doing parenting this way, and if I say that your parental approach is wrong, do you think she will accept? If I directly tell a parent that what you're doing is wrong, do you think they will accept it?
No.
No, no.
They may not. So at that point of time, facilitation will help. And when it comes to coaching, if we just simplify it, the role of a coach is multi-dimensional role. And when it comes to coaching, it is more of enablement. We are enabling parents to be effective in their role. Enablement. You are enabling whom? To whom you are enabling? Parents.
Parents.
For what?
Parents.
Parents.
To be effective in their role of
Oh.
parenting. And the term which we are using is enabling. Enablement. Now, while enabling them, many a time you have to train them. You have to motivate them. You have to upskill them if they're not skilled. If they're not skilled, you have to upskill them. If they're not trained, you have to train them. And many times you have to pass on right knowledge to them. Right? That's what a coach is doing, enablement. And that is why we say that they are into a multi-dimensional role where they act in many ways to enable a parent. But when we say enabler, does that mean what which we were discussing yesterday? Does that mean that I shall do parenting on their behalf if I'm going to enable them? Shall we?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. If we start doing parenting on their behalf, are we acting as enablers?
We have to empower them.
We have to empower them. That's very important. And that's the biggest mistake which we may do in parenting when we start in parental coaching, when we start doing parenting on their behalf. These parents will invite us. If I'm doing parental coaching for you, you may start feeling like, why don't Manish, you talk to my child? She's not eating, she's not studying, if you can convince. And if we as a coach started doing it, if we start talking to their child, if we start convincing on their behalf, then we are not doing coaching. Then we are doing parenting. And we act as extended parents to those families. We are not acting as coaches. Understood?
Coaches.
Right? Is it audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Now, whom we are going to coach? Parents,
who need who need to learn the technique.
the one who has to learn this technique. But my question to you is, when we say parent, what is first comes in your mind? Who is a parent? That is also something important to be defined.
Mother, father, maybe grand.
Generally, mother, generally.
Biological parents, or are we talking about? No. What my question is, if you sir, if you talk about parent, you are you talking about biological parent, or someone who
Or to
some
whom we are going to coach. When we are going to coach parents, we have to define parent. The first thing which comes in mind is parent is a biological parent,
Mother and father.
mother and father. But when it comes to parenting, it's different. We will be redefining it. It's not only mother and father, it will be anyone who is involved in regular upbringing of them. It can be grandparents also, right? So if there is a family where there are two kids, they are managed by mother, father, and grandparents. So then there are four managing parents. And when you will be doing your coaching interventions, if you only do with mother, not with these three other people, will it be helping?
No.
No, not at all.
It will not be
It will not be helping. That means the most important part which is there is that we have to define to whom we are going to coach. Each family is different. In few cases, you will find there are some nannies also appointed to raise a child. Yes or no? There are families, those who appoint nannies.
Yes.
Then that nanny will also be included. There are some families where buas, chachis, uncles, and aunts are there. Those who are very much involved in parenting. Yes or no? A few surroundings. It totally depends on what type of family dynamics they have. And then this list will be bigger. It will not be only mother and father. It will be a bigger list to whom we are going to coach. And that's very important. If we are four family members, rather leave it two. Two, you will get in 80% cases, you will get two parents raising the child. Yes or no? Husband, wife. Can we say that these two parents have same ideas about raising the child? Can we say that?
No.
No.
No, may not be.
Or
And that's what makes parental coaching different from other formats of coaching, because you are going to deal with two brains, three brains, four different brains, right? Those who are raising this child collectively. When you have multiple brains raising one child, they will have different goals, different viewpoints, different aspirations, and different approaches to raise the child. And there can be conflict. When one parent say, when one parent is saying yes, the other is saying no, right? It can be a bigger conflict. And you as a coach gets into a fix, because not each parent will have same goal, and you have to align their goals first. Then you are going to start coaching, right? That makes your journey as a coach a bit complex, and that's where professional approaches will help you how to align their goals when both the parents think differently. Maybe we have noticed when one parent is fearful about one situation, the other parent is not fearful at that time. Happens. One parent is very excited, the other parent is not excited in the same situation. One parent want to give something to the child, the other parent don't want to give something to the child. Happens.
Yes.
So in that case, when they will be sitting with you, they may have different aspirations, different goals, and until and unless their goals are aligned, coaching can't happen. That is why sports coaching, life coaching, the other formats of coaching are different from parental coaching, because you are not going to coach one individual. You are going to coach a unit. The term which we use is unit. And that unit can have one parent, two parents, three, four, five, depends. How many, what type of family dynamics they have. Right? And when we were discussing about what makes you great in this role, is it your knowledge? Is it your expertise? What makes you great in this role. So there are certain traits which we expect. Many of you must be asking this question to self. Am I eligible to be a coach? Had anyone asked this question? Okay, is it fit for me? How many of you asked this question to self?
Yeah, yeah. I asked myself.
Am I fit for this role? Then only I'll be joining it. So many things that we need to be psychologists, we need to be degree holder in psychology to get into coaching. And we were discussing it yesterday. What do you think? Is it true? Is it mandatory?
Yes.
To
Yes.
some extent, it is
Yes.
mandatory, but experience also matters a lot. And
I'll tell you. That's what I shared yesterday. That even if somebody who is qualified psychologist, they may know the dynamics of psychology, child psychology better. Parenting is a new subject. Parenting is not that taught in their classroom. It's different. When you get into parental coaching, if we use this term legally, this doesn't attract any degree. Globally, even if you work in Canada, UK, USA, in other countries also, when you use a term coach, it doesn't attract any license or degree. But the moment you use the term counselor, it attracts. In India, so anyone is using a term counselor, front office counselor, sales counselor,
Yeah.
right?
Correct, sir.
Immigration counselor. We use this term. But anyways,
Hmm.
when you globally go and you use the term counselor, they will be asking you, do you have counseling degree? Then only you can counsel. But the moment you use term coach, there's no legal requirement of this. So if you are going to work as a coach, your certification will help you. You mandatorily don't need a degree on counseling or psychology. But if you have study in this interest in this subject, you must, because it is going to help you. And we will incorporate a lot of topics of psychology in our curriculum. And second question which pops up in our mind, do I need to be a parent to be a parent coach? We already discussed about that. When you, even if you are not a parent, still you can help parents. Even if you're not a parent of a teenager, still you can help parents of teenage. And what will help you? The first thing which we expect from our coaches that they shall be great at is empathy. This is going to help you a lot in your coaching interventions. I may not be raising teenager at home, but yes, I can help a parent of a teenager by being empathetic to them, right? And what is empathy? Anyone who can tell me what is empathy?
Understanding the getting into the shoe of other person.
Wonderful, good.
Understanding the feelings, emotions.
Understanding the feelings of others. Wonderful,
Yes.
good.
Just being there and hand holding. Just being there as a listener.
Wonderful, good. Being there, hand holding them, and listen them. That's how
Being
you
an
show
active
your
listener.
listening shows your empathy, but that's not empathy, right?
Show the
Active listening, sir.
ability to understand and share the
Ability to
feelings
understand.
Listen
Wonderful, good.
to
hello,
Yes, yes. It is audible for Hat. You
showing
said
sir,
showing the ability
understanding
to
the
understand
problem.
and share the
Under,
feelings of each other.
wonderful, good. I take your point. See, when we use the term empathy, typically when we define it, it says that I'm sure many of you have heard it. A few of you just highlighted getting into the shoes of your coachee, right? And that's what empathy is. But what to do after getting into their shoes? After getting into their shoes, think like them, feel like them, and look at the things from their perspective. That is what we refer as actionables of empathy. When you get into the shoes of your coachee, start thinking like them. You need to understand their fears. You have to feel like them. You need to understand their aspirations, and you have to look at things from their place. Then only you will be understanding their position better. And empathy is always an extra step, consciously taken, to be closer to your coachee. When you get closer to your coachee to see how they think, how they feel, and what is visible from their place, that is what empathy is. And the most important point in empathy is that it has to be practiced consciously. Nobody is expert. You have to do a conscious effort whenever you come across a new case. You have to consciously practice empathy, consciously think like them, feel like them, consciously looking at perspective from their place. That's what we call actionables of empathy. And before getting into the shoes of your coaches, first you have to get out of your own shoes. That is the first requirement. If you keep thinking from your perspective, you will not be able to help. If I'm raising a toddler, so I think like a parent of a toddler. But if when I'm going to help a parent of teenager, I have to think like a parent of teenager. Yes or no? I have to feel like a parent of teenager.
Yes, sir.
What type of fears they have, what bothers them. For that, you have to get out of your own shoes and then get into their shoes. Understood? And very well pointed out by Teresa, more than degrees, it is your intent which makes you qualify for this role. If you have intent to help people, then it is enough. Other traits you can acquire. Empathy is something which you will gradually acquire. When you will start applying the principles of coaching, then automatically you start getting empathy. So empathy is something which you will grow with. You all are empathetic, but now onwards you will be practicing it consciously. Right? The other trait which is required to be a great coach is listening. You all are good listeners. You are already into communication. Many of you are teachers, coaches, consultants, therapists. So you are already good in listening. But the most important thing is that in coaching, the proportion of listening to speaking is different than other formats. It is 1:1. Speaking to listening composition in coaching is 1:1. Right? That means when you will be doing
Yes, sir.
coaching interventions, 50% time you can speak maximum. Other 50% times you have to make your coachee speak. You have to listen to them. If you listen to them, then only you will be able to assess your case. If you're not listening to them, you will not be able to assess the case. Understood? What I'm doing right now, am I doing training or am I doing coaching? At this point of time,
Training.
I
Training.
think
Training,
it
training.
Training,
is
sir.
training. For sure,
Training,
it is
sir.
training. It is not coaching. Right? It is not coaching because one more point is there, because when we do coaching, coaching is always on one. Because in coaching, we have to address coach's goal. But right now, I'm running my own agenda and I'm addressing larger audience in one go. So I'm running training program right now, where my proportion of speaking to listening is 90-10. 90% times I'm speaking, 10% time or 20% time maximum, I'm involving you in discussion. Yes or no? But if I would have been doing coaching personally with one of you, then I would have asked so many questions to you to understand you better, to understand your case better. It would have been 50-50, right? And who all may face problems? Those who are not in the pattern of listening in the profession. Like if I ask you that how many of you are there, those who come from teaching and training background, those who have been into teaching, those who are into teaching and training. Just write down T in the chat box quickly. Just write down T in the chat box if you have been into teaching or you are into teaching and training. So Neha is from teaching and training, Prajakta, Nidhi, Marga, Shoma, Farhat. Many of us are from the field of teaching and training. And even when I moved into coaching, I moved out of training to coaching in 2010. Now, what happens? Now, listen to me on this point very carefully. And if you please tell me if it breaks down the voice. Uh, when you are into teaching and training, you are a subject matter expert. Agree?
Sir, your voice,
That is
your voice.
Varsha,
Not clear.
that okay. When you are from teaching and training, you're a subject matter expert. Maybe you are a expert of soft skills, history, language, mathematics. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
When you are a subject matter expert, right? At that point of time, you are more into giving detailed answers. If anyone is asking you a problem, you will be giving a detailed answer. Teachers are into that frame of mind. They have to explain more. They have to detail more, right? Akshay, you have a background noise. I muted you. Yes. Agree? Agree?
Sir,
That
can
you
you
are.
repeat?
सर रिपीट मुझे समझ नहीं आया आपने क्या
My
कहा.
point is when you are a subject matter expert, when you act as a teacher or trainer, you are more into explanation. Agree?
Yes.
You are more into details. If
Yes.
somebody is asking you a question, you will be giving a long, long answer to it, a detailed answer.
Yes. Correct.
We are more into speech. We help people by speaking. In training and teaching, we help people by explaining in detail easily. Agree?
Agree.
That means your major proportion is into speech than listening. Your major proportion of is into speaking than listening. And if with the same mindset, if you do coaching, will you be able to maintain this 1:1 ratio?
No, sir.
No.
More of thing.
More of explanation.
Listening is also
What
required.
and if we are not in, and I'm not saying we are consciously doing it. If I remain into teaching and training, my brain is conditioned that way. We are conditioned to speak more than listen more. It's not a conscious choice. It's a outcome of that profession, and it's not wrong. I won't say that it is something wrong. It is the need of that. It's a demand of that career. It's okay. But the moment, if any one of you is moving out of teaching to coaching, then you have to be conscious. When you do your interventions, you have to be conscious about your patterns of communication. Understood? Got
One
it?
has to switch the role, right?
Absolutely. You have to be a conscious listener. If you think automatically I'll start listening, automatically it is not possible. Because automatically so I'll be more into explanation. Because when I moved from teaching to coaching, initially I was into giving long, long answers, not even listening. The moment a parent said, my child is doing this, doing that, the moment I heard a problem, I start giving long, long explanation. And I was missing on assessment. I was not asking much questions. And it is just that because we are in tendency of answering more than listening more. So where assessments go affected, it may go wrong. And if assessment is not fair, solutions will not help. I hope you agree on this. If my assessment is
Totally,
not fair, it
totally.
will not be helping any parent,
Hmm.
right? So listening definitely be a conscious effort. So this is also you have to check with you, right? This is something which you have to imbibe if you want to be a great coach, right? And the other very important point is that you need to be a good communicator, which you all are. If many of you are from teaching and training, anyways, you are great in communication. I'm sure, right? Am I audible? Or I need to do again an effort?
Yes.
You all are good at communication. Am I audible?
Hmm.
Yes, sir. You are
Yes,
audible,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Communication you are great at, but what's different now? Now you are going to coach adults. Let's understand it. You are going to coach adults who have high ego. The parents who will come to you, right? They will have dual ego. They will have ego of their age and they will have the ego of their professions also. Because the parents who will come to you, they will somebody will be a businessman, a national head of a company, a bureaucrat, a politician, a school principal, a school teacher. And teaching a young child and teaching an adult, training a young child and training an adult is different. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Completely
sir.
different.
Yes,
Much
sir.
true, sir.
completely.
When we coach or train young adults, and we coach and train group like parents with high ego, especially with professional and age specific ego, then we can't be blunt with them, we can't be direct with them.
Hmm.
And one term which we'll be discussing in detail tomorrow in our discussion, for which I'm going to give you homework today, which you have to do till tomorrow. That is, I want you to Google a term called adult learning principles. Just write it down. You have to Google a term, adult learning principles. How many of you have heard of a term called pedagogy? How many of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pedagogy?
Sir,
100.
all teachers must have.
I'm sure. All teachers, because they are in the process of training young kids. The art and science of learning by young kids, training young kids, is what we refer as pedagogy. But there is a term called
I beg
andragogy.
your pardon for the what is the homework tomorrow? Pardon?
I'll tell you. I'll just write it down in the chat box.
Yeah.
You have to Google a term which is
Mm-hmm.
adult learning principles.
Okay.
You can write for me. Adult learning principles you have to Google, and we'll discuss in detail about it. Certain principles. What I'm highlighting, there is a term
Huh.
called andragogy, if anyone have heard, which says andragogy is art and science of training adults, which is different from art and science of training young kids. And this time, you are not going to train young adults, you are going to train adults with high ego, which is different, completely different. And yesterday, somebody was talking about if we tell parents they don't agree, they get into conflict. Why they get into conflict and why they don't agree? The reason is when we advise, when we suggest, and when we impose our ideas on them, unknowingly, if we hurt them, then no coaching can work. If through my approach, if I make you feel bad, then do you think you will be in a frame of mind to understand me?
No.
No, not at all.
Even if I'm talking wisdom of God, Brahma Gyan, nobody will understand it if you got disconnected with me. Because if I make you feel bad, and at any point of time unknowingly, you will not be connected with me. If you are not connected, you are not understanding. And sometime when we start suggesting and advising adults, they don't buy those ideas. And that's where we have to use a different approach of communication. And that approach demands that you have to incorporate adult learning principles in your communication. That's why I asked you to learn to read about it. We will be discussing in detail about it tomorrow. What is adult learning principle? How to talk to adults without imposing ideas on them, right? By ensuring the respect, and which is different, which makes us different from a trainer, which makes us different from a teacher, which makes us different from a mentor. See, one thing I just want to tell you: when you are a trainer, your relationship with your trainee is this. Am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This
Yes,
is
sir.
your
Yes,
relationship.
yes.
You are a giver, they are
Yes.
receivers. When you are a mentor to someone, your relationship with your mentee is this. You are a giver, they are receivers. Right? As a teacher, also, you're a giver, they are receiver. But when you're a coach, your relationship is this. And to bring this relationship in your mind, we need to understand this role better. How to talk to adults. Understood? And that's where
Yes, sir.
ALPs will help us. Adult learning principles will help us. Google it religiously. We'll be discussing in detail. I'm sure it's not going to help you in coaching. It's going to help you in any relation where you have to talk to adults, train adults, or make adults understand things when you are in conflict with adults. Right? Yes, Neelam, you raise your hand, please.
Sir, what I understand, the very first principle of coaching is not advising at all, no suggestion, no.
Absolutely true.
And
Not
your
to advise
coachee is equally respectful as you are,
as
and
you are.
that agreement happens on the very first.
True. There
I
are
mean, as soon as
three.
you start with the, you
Absolutely.
get to understand.
I buy your point. Appreciate Neelam on this. There are three R's which you can write it down, which are very important in coaching. R's. R matlab R for respect. The first R is respect, which is a fundamental premise of this relationship. Second is that you need to be rational, logical. Adults like logics. They're just not going to agree with you, whatever you say. You have to be rational in your approach. And third R is relevance. It needs to be relevant to their goals and needs. Understood? And these are three R's we'll be discussing in detail tomorrow. But this is your homework. I hope done. Understood?
Sir, the third R I missed. Respect, respect, logic,
And
and third one I missed.
relevance.
Relevance. Okay, sir.
Relevance. So the fourth trait which we expect a coach shall be great at. This is very interesting, very important, and it's going to make a big difference in your coaching practices. That whenever you start coaching people on certain ideologies, on any ideology, you shall be at least thorough about that ideology. Means having just an idea about an ideology, if you start coaching people, you will be stuck. Because the moment there will be a contradiction, you will end up changing your stand, and which is not professionally good. If you can open up videos, I just want to share something with you. Suppose if I share an idea with you that if in any video you see Manish saying, we shall love our kids unconditionally, there shall be no bargain on love. How's this idea at your end? Did you like this idea? When I say we shall love our kids unconditionally and there shall be no bargain on love, love shall be given in abundance to kids. How many of you like this idea?
That's true, sir. That's true.
Quick
I
yes if you like this idea, if you are
It's
in line with this idea.
true. It's true, but more sugar also is a poisonous.
See,
Okay, something is poison.
I take your point, but like when you say, now what Farhat highlighted, that means when I say this statement that love shall be given in abundance to kids, Farhat has an apprehension. If Farhat is my parent and she heard me and I started doing coaching based on this idea that love shall be given in abundance, no bargain, and Farhat is saying, no, Manish, if we give sugar in abundance, it may be poisonous. Maybe that a parent who has an apprehension, they shared a contradiction with me. And if I am unable to serve this contradiction, then then how will this parent see me as a coach if I just change my stand? Yes, Farhat, not always. And at the one point of time, I'm saying it shall be unconditional, and now I'm saying we shall put conditions on it. How will you see me as a coach?
The one who is changing opinions,
Then
they
the coach
depends on.
loses the authority and
Credibility. You will not see me as a credible resource. You will not see
Yes.
me as a thorough resource. You will see me as a amateur, a novice, right? Because I said something. The moment you contradicted, I changed my stand. Are you getting me? And it happens. Why it happens? I'll tell you the reason. Because when we are not thorough about it, right? When we are not clear about our ideologies, and the problem with us is, and don't mind about this, but it is a pattern which we are using. Today we are watching a lot of micro videos, reels. Am I right? We'll watch a lot of micro videos. We are into binge reading, binge watching, binge reading, quick. And when you
Yes, sir.
are into reading, binge watching, so we come across some opinions, ideas, and tips. And the moment we like that idea, we start training people on that idea. You're not thorough yet on that idea. If you're not thorough yet on that idea, for sure, the moment there will be a contradiction, you will end up changing your stand. And this is the problem. A 60-second video can't give you a complete solution. It can just highlight a tip, not complete solution. And tip is always a small part of big solution. Are you getting me? And if you don't have big solution, don't start coaching, because coaching mein people are not coming to you for tips. Coaching mein people want to know how to move from wrong to right. They need a complete action plan. They will try something, they will fail, they will come back to you. You are not just an influencer, you are a coach who has to travel with them on the journey from wrong to right. When they are in the worst condition, you have to take them to a good condition. They will be in a journey with you. It's just not a one time relationship. Are you getting me? Because I said so, go ahead and do it, and I'll not see you later if I'm an influencer. But if I'm there with you, you will apply it, you will fail, you will come back. I need to have solutions thorough strategies I need to have. So we suggest people that before starting your coaching, whatever ideology you are going to serve to the world around, you shall be at least thorough about it. Right? Do not just like an idea and get into coaching people on that. This type of approach will make you face some embarrassing situations, or where you will be end up changing your stand. You will not be feeling good about your work. The word is anyways not going to see you as a credible source. But you will also not be good about your work when you feel like I don't have complete solutions. Or coaching is not about telling them what is going wrong and what is going right. It's all about taking them from wrong to right. Are you getting me? Actionables. Actionables. That's more important. Understood? Are you getting me? This is what makes a coach different from just an influencer. A coach has to be thorough. That is what is expected from them. That they will be mentoring people in a journey from wrong to right, ineffective state to effective state, crisis से बाहर निकाल के bringing them to the appropriate condition. That is what we do, and you need to be thorough. And that is why I request that whenever you like an idea, invest time on that idea, read more about it, apply that idea, get trainings on that idea, and then start coaching people on that idea. I hope I'm somewhere connecting, because many times it happens that you see a reel, you see a YouTube short, you read a blog, and you get fascinated about that idea. Happens because the moment I said, many of you agreed with me. Yes, love shall be given unconditional. But are we really able to apply unconditional love? Tell me. Are we really able to apply unconditional love? Are we really able to practice it?
No, we don't apply all the time. We based it on the age group.
It is not even age group, even in young age also. I'll give you unconditional love is when love is not put into frames. It is unconditional. Now, if I give you a situation, if right now your child demanded something from you, and mentally you are in agreement to deliver that thing to the child, you are about to deliver that thing to the child. Child demanded, and you are going to deliver this demand. At that point of time, when you deliver that demand, what type of emotions you have, negative or positive? Quick.
Happy and love.
You are happy at that time. You are quite
Yes.
loving. Your
And
body
loving
language,
and caring.
body
Yeah.
language is compassionate.
Automatically smiley face and all.
Smiley, compassionate you are.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
on the contrary, if your child demanded something from you and you are not willing to deliver, and they are throwing tantrums, do you think that same compassion and their same body language is there?
No.
Many a time it happens absolutely contrast to it. Many parents get cranky with the kids when the kids are throwing tantrums. The
It goes
love,
vice versa.
the love is absent now. It's not there in your eyes. It's not in their words. It's not in your body language. That means it's conditional now. If they agree with you, love is present. If they don't agree with you, love get absent automatically. Not by choice. I don't say that you don't love your kids, but love is not experienced by child when they are throwing tantrums. Though There is a solution to it, but I'm just want to share an idea with you that when we like an idea that love shall be unconditional, और आज तक नहीं, पहली बार नहीं सुना आपने, आपने 50 बार सुना होगा, love shall be unconditional, love shall be unconditional. It is easier said than done. It's a philosophy till the time you are unable to practice it. Until I give you a practical solution to display unconditional love, it is just a philosophy. And philosophies don't help in coaching. Philosophies definitely help in influencing people. Philosophies definitely help in people making people realize something. But when you have to change their state of parenting, you have to give them action plan. And that's what I'm talking about. You have to invest in the idea. If you like that idea, invest in that idea. Invest time, invest reading, invest training. Then only you will have a foolproof solutions. Am I making sense on this? Understood? If I say praise shall be given in abundance, many of you may like it. पर कोई आके कहेगा आपको, अगर हम ऐसे बच्चों की प्रेज करते रहें तो they will not be valuing the praise, they will be overconfident about their being. And if I don't have clarity on this, if I can't serve those apprehensions, for sure they will see me as a right. They will see me as a amateur, a novice. My integrity as a coach will be impacted. To be thorough, clear on the ideologies which you have when you serve your coaches, and we help people, coaches to into it through our trainings, through our content. We help you with that structured approach, with those strategies, which is just not philosophy, it is supported by action plans. Then another trait which we expect from coaches is to be a good observer, because now when you opted to be in parental coaching, if you choose to observe, right, parent child communication happening in your surroundings, this will help you a lot to bring more perspectives. To add on to your perspective, these all observations will help. And there are many opportunities where you can see parent child communication happening around you. Yes or no?
Yes.
In your surroundings,
Yes, sir.
which all
Yes.
places are there where you can observe parent child communication?
Parks.
Parks. Parks is a big opportunity where parents child.
Restaurants.
Restaurant is a big opportunity. Wonderful, good.
Shopping areas.
Shopping
School.
areas where maximum tantrums are happening in toy shops. So that's also a opportunity where you can see that how each parent is managing tantrums of the child. There are some great practices you will be able to observe. And this adds on to your perspectives, because I told you the more and more approaches you will have, the more and more perspectives you will have, the better coach you become. You will be help many parents. So restaurants, malls, shops, parks, what else? Which all opportunities we have where we can observe parent child communication?
Home is also their own home.
In your own home, so you anyways have opportunity.
In their home.
In our home, as a parent,
No, as in the parents or the coaches' home.
if there are other parents, how they are dealing. I take the point.
Also, the parents teacher meeting that is happening in school in front of teachers. You
PTM.
can observe
Absolutely.
how
Different
parents
approaches
and
of parents.
students or their children are talking to themselves, to each other.
Absolutely. How parents are talking to each other, right?
In
And even
clinics,
the body language we can understand.
A lot. Even picking and dropping points where you pick your child, you drop your child, you will see different practices by parent at that place, right? Then
in clinics or
clinics,
hospitals.
hospitals, waiting lounges, pediatrician के especially waiting
Yes.
lounges, airports you will find lot of opportunities. एक बहुत अच्छी opportunity we have sports event where you will see कि एक बच्चा जीत रहा है, एक हार रहा है. जीतने वाले बच्चे के साथ what type of treatment parents are doing, how they are managing their failures, how they're celebrating their success. Each parent has a different approach,
Correct, sir.
right? And it adds on to your perspective. So observation will help you a lot, right? And the sixth trait which we expect that you shall be great at is reading. You shall be a avid reader. The more you read, the more you grow with your perspectives. Because when you read, it adds on to your
You
perspective.
mean reader mean the observation part, right?
Reading is
Like a
absorption, of course. Like
Perspective.
reading
okay.
means when you read books,
Acha, that
the
books. Okay, okay. I
reader
thought
means
while
no, no, no.
counseling, we can read out the face, the body
Reader means
language.
a lot of people wrote their experiences of parenting in the books. They wrote their perspectives. They wrote their researches. If you read more about parenting, at least you will be able to see and grasp the other some other parent coach perspective, which is definitely be adding onto your perspective. People those who read books, definitely they'll be getting big advantage. If you want, I can share 2 3 books with you which you can opt to read.
Yes, sir, please.
I'll share.
Please, sir.
I'll share in the group some e-books, get it printed, read about it, right? It will adds on to your this perspectives. And when you read, please be clear about the like be conscious about the fact that when you read, you're going to talk about you're going to grasp majorly on the how part, the actionables. There are a lot of write-ups which are only philosophies, but you shall focus on how to convert those philosophies into action, right? That will definitely help you. So these are 6 traits which we expect. If you are good at it, you are already a fit for becoming a parent coach. You have to now check with yourself. Like, are you mentally ready to be empathetic, being a good listener, right? And then good communicator, like at least having clarity on the fact that we are not just going to coach people based on ideas, we'll be nurturing it so that it becomes our excellence. We'll choose to observe and we'll start reading, right? These are the 6 traits. Now, the other area which, like I told you, that coaches need to be what all 6 traits they need to be great at. But there are certain other areas where you shall be working on. These traits may hinder your growth as a coach. You have to work on it. You have to improve yourself on those areas. And one of those areas is being judgmental. That impacts your assessment. And if I ask anyone that are you judgmental, if you have to answer for yourself, right? Do you ever choose to be judgmental?
No.
You don't choose to become judgmental, but we may become
Unknowingly
judgmental
happens.
unknowingly. True. And the moment we started applying assumptions or judgments to our case, what will happen? The assessment will get impacted. It will be unfair. And why we get judgmental, that's more important to be understood. Nobody chooses to, but there are certain patterns which make us judgmental. And one of that pattern is connecting causes to effects, effects to the causes, which is a usual tendency of you all intellectuals. Like right now, at this point of time, I am talking to a bunch of intellectuals. Many of you are teachers, trainers, doctors, coaches, consultants, therapists. So you are a selected class bunch of people, those who are intellectual in nature. And if you check with yourself, we have a very usual tendency. Whenever we come across a new information, whenever we see something new, we try to reach out to the reason of that change, the cause. Like if I see that so this Sonal is behaving differently today, why she is behaving differently? Why she is acting differently? What is going on in her mind? Am I right, wrong? That's how we think. If we see a change, If we say something new, we tend to connect the dots. We try to connect to the effect to the probable cause. Am I right? It's a special tendency, a usual approach of intellectuals. Do you agree on this? And this approach definitely helps us a lot if we are a chartered accountant, if we are a mechanical engineer or an engineer, if I'm a coder, this approach will definitely help me, because in those industries, cause and effect relationship is very linear. There are standard causes and standard effects. But in our industry, in human behaviors, in human psychology, it is absolutely different. It's not linear. For same effects, there could be different causes. I may get 10 cases, those who may highlight same problem. But in all 10 cases, we may have different causes to those problems. And the moment we start connecting the dots, we start assuming, we skip our assessments. And that's where in coaching, they say, there's a metaphor which they're using in coaching. You can write it down. It says that do assessments. When you assess your cases, do assessment like fools. Now, fool is not a literal term over here. It's a part of a metaphor, which says that when you do assessment, don't apply your brain at that time. If any question is asked, written over there in assessment sheet, ask. Don't assume anything. Ask everything. If you are, if you, while doing assessment, if you act as amateur, you will not be doing mistake. The moment you started applying your expertise, you tend to do mistake and you start applying your judgments. Typically, I'll give you a case. Like for example, Ruchika came to me and she shared a problem with me that Manish, my child is not good at concentration. Assume. And child's age is 11 years, 10, 11 years old child, and child is not good at concentration, which she highlighted. So after doing assessment, we found the child is very much involved in high reflexes visual experiences, and that is why child's concentration is going wrong. It is increasing mental hyperactivity of child. So this is the case. Suppose after 7 days, Sauli came to me and she shared that my child is having concentration problem, and coincidentally child is of same age. We did fair assessment and coincidentally we found the same cause. Even Sauli's child is also very much involved into 3D view games and high reflexes videos, and that is why concentration is wrong. And after 7 days, Priya came to me, and coincidentally, she shared the same problem that my child's concentration is going wrong, and age is almost same, 10, 11 years. Ab, do you agree that there can be much chances that we can skip this assessment and we start connecting the dots? We start assuming that there must be a this child also must be involved in 3D view games, because we have recently got 2-3 cases of same nature. Possible?
No, sir, not at all. We should assess completely, ask everything. Then
We
only we
shall
can
ask,
join the dot.
but the chances are high that we will connect the dots. Very high chances,
No, sir.
because when we start applying our existing experiences and our expertise at the time of assessment, this mistake will definitely happen. And that is why they say at the time of assessment, don't apply your expertise. But at the time of designing solutions, use your expertise, use your old experiences, but not at the time of assessment. If the moment you start applying it at the time of assessment, your assessment will go wrong. And that is why we have very structured assessment sheets, well defined questions, ask all questions. Even if the question is related to behavior, the problem is related to behavior, you may be asking questions related to cats also, but do ask. Don't apply your brain at that time. All the questions need to be asked. That way, we can avoid being judgmental. We can limit this impulse of assuming something. Why to assume? Let's ask. Understood? And that is why I said that don't apply your expertise and excellence and existing experiences while assessing, while doing assessment. And be open. okay, in new cases we may get new causes. If you are open for that, then your assessment will not go. And this clarity, anyways, your industry will give you that in your industry, if even if there are 20 cases of same problem, there can be 20 different causes in 20 same problems. Same effect is there. There could be 20 different causes. That's we have to be open about. Yes, Prajakta.
While teaching also we may face the same thing.
Absolutely. Any healing practice, any therapy when you do, if you start assuming, your assessment will be impacted, right? A coaching
Yes.
assessment is very important. We can't give ready-made solutions to our clients. We have to have tailor-made solutions which fits to their requirements. Agree?
Right, sir.
The other trait which we need to now control, which we I think you all will agree with me that gradually we are losing on to patience. If you check with yourself, did you notice that you are changing as a human? In last 2 decades, your patience level has gone down. Your expectations are now very fast, quick, fast responses. Yes or no? Fast deliveries. If you order today something, you expect it fast. Did you ever experienced that when you are at a restaurant and you have to wait more than your expectation, unwantedly you feel uncomfortable when you have to wait more than expectation? Happens.
Yes, sir.
And anxiety bothers us. We don't choose that anxiety. It is bothering us. We don't want that, but it is happening to us. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Why? Because of late, lifestyle is so fast. We get instant responses, instant food, instant deliveries. Now we are expecting everything fast, instantly. And more than you, the new age parents are getting impulsive. More than them, their kids are impulsive. Yes or no? If you're going to deal
Yes.
with highly impulsive generation of kids, if you're going to deal with highly impulsive generation of parents, as a coach, can you choose to be impulsive? Will it help?
Absolutely not.
Many parents are going to model you. If they are doing mistakes, many a time you will be emotional, you will feel bad, and you have to have good control over your thoughts, emotions, feelings. Then only you can coach. At least coach need to do something different, so that they shall be different from the lot of coaches, lot from of their parents. And for we suggest our coaches that if you want to get into coaching, any format of coaching, you have to improve yourself on your patience. You have to control your impulsivities. And there are two things which helps you a lot into this process. And those two things are your conscious choice to be mindful. When you choose to be mindful, you automatically you get control over your impulses. Your mindfulness helps you. And second approach which helps you a lot, which gives you an automatic control, that is meditation. It's a personal suggestion to all the coaches, which is going to help you personally and professionally. You must meditate. The more you meditate, the more you get control over your thoughts, emotions, feelings. Patience. It will be a gift. And I'm sure many of you must be doing it. Those who are already doing it, they must have got ample advantage of it. Yes or no? If any one of you is doing meditation, I'm sure they have got good results till the time they started. Yes?
So somewhere this gives you an outstanding results, and your coaches also believe you because you are not showing them the same behavior. You
Absolutely.
are a level up,
And for
so they role model you. Yeah,
that level up, you need to have this personal excellence, controlling thoughts, emotions, feelings.
yeah, that's what. If
There,
these two are like two important things for a coach to have, qualities of coach.
absolutely. Right? So being mindful and meditate. This is also very important. And this is true to everyone, those who are here, because you all are experts. When you are expert, when you are in one domain for long, sometimes what happens, we start feeling like that I know it all. Even if I start feeling like that I know it all, I know everything about this domain. The moment you had this feeling in the field of psychology, not only I'm talking about parental coaching, even if you are working in the field of human behaviors in any area, in mental health, then you stopped learning, because mental health, human behaviors is one industry which is very dynamic. Things are changing very fast over here. It's not things change over here in decades or in years. Things change almost every day. A lot of new things are changing, taking place as changes in the life of students, in the life of parents. And if I, as a coach, is not updating myself, I will not be able to help them. I will not be able to connect with their needs. And that's where we have to update ourselves regularly. We can't be closed to new updates, to new learnings, right? Which is going to make you different, which will help you to connect with the current problems. Like, how many of you are there? If I ask you, just to check with you, how many of you are there, those who are dealing with teenagers? Pallavi,
I.
those are dealing with
Yes,
teenagers.
me too.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Those who are dealing with teenagers, right? Many of us are there, those who are already dealing with teenagers. Uh, how many of you heard of this case, boys locker room Instagram story? How many of you? Quick, yes.
Yes, sir, heard it. Read it.
Yes, sir.
How many of you heard of boys locker room Instagram story? If you haven't heard it, you missed a big update of society. If you haven't read it,
Sir, I haven't heard it.
taken.
Even I have not heard it.
I'm sure. Like, now I've given you a task. Go and Google it. BIOS, but right? BOIS locker room. Now this is a very. This was a case which was quite alarming, which actually highlights that how this bracket of teenagers can think, how weird they can think, and what all mistakes they can do when they are triggered by their hormones. The most intelligent student of the class can act most foolish. They can behave absolutely foolish when they are impacted by their hormones. These hormones hijack their intelligence. So intelligence has nothing to do with the marks, right? So you please read this update. ऐसे कई updates हैं. Recent update was when that boy in Lucknow shot his mother. How many of you know that case? There's a boy in Lucknow who shot his mother because that mother was stopping him to play PUBG.
Yes, sir. It was in the news.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Heard it.
If you haven't heard
No.
if you haven't heard the case, you missed a big update, right? And that was an alarming change in the country, where we actually got to know that how digital addictions are taking over in that powerful way. The impact of digital addiction is absolutely same as substance addiction is. If you missed this case,
Mm.
Yes, sir.
then you missed this big update, right? I'm not so far. I'm not telling you. I'm giving you material to think over it, because anyways, this type of updates, right? When you keep updating yourself, then only you match up with the current problems which they're facing. I'm sure.
Sir, I would like to add on.
Yes,
Can I?
yes, yes.
It's not just, yes, it is digital problem हो रही है, but there are lot many more things that are adding on to the teenage problems. Okay, so there
100%.
were
But
many.
I take it. I'm not saying that there are not other problems. My point is,
Mm,
if you are connected to these updates somewhere, if you have any
yes.
platform through which you keep getting these updates, if you have a newsletter like that, if you have a
Mm,
community like that, because we have a community where if anyone is coming across a new information, any new case, they keep helping each other. At least
mm,
you get across information. Otherwise, you can't get to know. You can't read news every day. But you need to have that platform if you're anyways this into this profession of helping teenagers or helping young kids. ये तब हो पाएगा when we are open to updates. जैसे अगर न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी आई या अभी एप्लीकेबल होगी, if I think I'm a parent coach, and why shall I update myself on new education policy? Will it be fair? Because this new
Yes,
education
sir, it is
policy,
important to know about it.
because why? Because new education policy is going to change the life of a student. It's going to change the life and aspiration of a parent. I need to update myself on this. How can I say that I need not to? Many will feel that I'm not an education coach, I'm not a career coach, I'm a parent coach. Why do I need to update myself on new education policy? But it's an important update. Why? Because it is going to change the life of a student. And anyways, if I'm talking to parents about raising the child, and any change which is impacting their life is an important update for me. And for this, first step is being open, that I'm in an industry which is changing every day and I have to update myself. At the moment I feel like I know it all, you may be knowing till yesterday, you don't know about today, because today is different from yesterday in this industry. So we help you. Like I told you that coaches have communities, they get updated regularly. If anyone is doing something, or any news they come across, they keep sharing. First is your openness. Second is you need to have some this platforms, newsletters, or communities like that, which will keep helping you to update. And the other very important point is, in this coaching, when people will come to you, they will come up with a problem. They will come up with a problem to you. They will have, when they will come to you, they will come up with the crisis to you, a problem, and they seek resolve. If I, as a coach, unknowingly, if I'm negative, because by choice, so nobody is negative, but unknowingly, if I reflect negativity, will I be sending my coaches home happy?
They may lose hope.
They may lose hope. They are anyways coming to me without hope, and our job is to give hope to them, scope to them.
Yes, yes.
And it's very important that coach overall communication needs to be very motivating, inspiring, positive. And it doesn't mean that we are going to lie. We are definitely going to tell the truth, but we'll ensure that whenever we build on to the problems, if I'm building up my problem this, I will build my solution double. It shall not be ulta, that I built it up my problem so big, but when it comes to building up my solution that is small, then definitely my coachee will go home sad. They will feel like the problem is so big and solution we haven't built in their mind. What you need to do, if we are talking about a problem, then we will make them this understand solution in in the best possible way, in a detailed way. If they understood solution in a detailed way, then they at least have a hope that this solution will overcome this problem. And we many a time do ulta, we keep building on the problem unknowingly. हम बीमारी को बड़ा बना देते हैं, और जब दवाई देने की बारी आई, we just discuss. I spent 30 minutes in my coaching on building up a problem and 10 minutes on building up a solution, not helping, rather it shall be other way around. We need to talk about problem till that time only, till the time they take it seriously. The moment they take it seriously, now it's time to build on solutions. We have to ensure them that if they apply their action plan, if they do their assignments, right, for sure they're going to get help. Then only they will apply it. And typically it happens. I'm sure many of you have experienced sometime with doctors also. If one doctor says they built onto your problem, the problem is pretty big, this bimari is pretty big, and don't know how things will improve, but anyways, you have medicine, things will improve. If they say this. On the other hand, if they say that there is a big problem at your end, the problem is bigger, but you have to be particular about your medicines. You have to take it right particularly, and I'm sure you are going to improve, right? Be sure, but you have to be particular about your medicine. Which seems more hopeful to you, the first or the second approach?
First one.
By being more assertive, by being more assertive.
Assertive, where you are building up on, it will surely bring a change. It's not anyways, or just do it, let's see what happens. If we say let's see what happens, this is more of communication problem. The moment you assure them that you just do it, it will help. At least they will go and do it. They will be more prone, they will be more encouraged to apply this solution, to apply this action plan rather than thinking over it. This negativity is not chosen by us. It is just that it is unknowingly in our patterns. And in coaching, how coaches improve it? Whenever you do your coaching interventions, it is recommended that you must record it. Record your interventions. If you record your interventions, you will be able to read yourself. You will be able to listen to yourself. Whatever you spoke, whatever you have given in return, you will be able to assess it at your end. Because we don't do it knowingly. When we listen to our recordings, we assess ourselves. The moment you assess yourself, you change. If you're doing interventions online through web, record your web meetings. And if you're doing it in person, one on one, record it in your devices in audio way. That way, you will be able to क्रॉस चेक assess yourself. और जो जो लोग assess करते हैं, जब भी whenever you realized that you have a pattern which is negative, I'm sure you must improve. You have improved it in the past, provided you know about it, right? कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि आपने अपने कम्युनिकेशन पैटर्न में कुछ vocabularies को बदला हो? The moment you realize that there is a better word, a positive word replacing the existing word of vocabulary, had you changed your vocabulary? Have you ever?
Yes, sir.
ये कब बदला होगा आपने?
Yes, sir. It happens most of the time in clinical practice.
When you come across,
if you feel that the patient is
Better.
not following the medicines or the regime advice properly, then you end up using some other word so
approaches
that they
and words.
follow it better.
So the point is, when you realize, then only you change. When the moment you realize, oh, I got a new word to replace this existing word, you alter your vocabulary. But it's you who change, nobody else. And we
When
only
we
do it
find that new word is more effective,
effective, right?
yes.
Absolutely. So my point is, this is something which is directly correlated to your own assessment about yourself, or you're conscious about yourself. Nobody else can change you. Rather, it is, you never allow anyone to change you, because if anyone is changing your pattern, you will feel bad about it. So self-assessment always pays. Assess your routine, record your interventions. You always get an opportunity to listen to your recordings. All professionals do, which helps you improve. Unknowingly, at least you will not be negative. Understood? चाहकर तो कोई नहीं होता, but unknowingly people may become negative. Understood? Right? So these are
Yes,
four
sir.
traits which we expect that coach shall not have. They must work on it. And all these traits are those traits which prima facie we don't agree with. I'm not closed. I'm not negative. I'm not judgmental, because we consciously don't choose it. It is something which we just do. We don't choose. It is something which we do unknowingly. And if anything which is happening out of our subconscious, our conscious approach can help us to control that subconscious. Understood? Got it? So when this question pops up in your mind,
Yes.
what is going to make
Yes,
you a
sir.
great coach? I hope you get some traits which you have to imbibe and certain traits which you have to work on. Right? If you ask this question to yourself, that are you really ready to work on it? Then you are eligible, very much eligible to get into coaching. Knowledge, processes, protocols, tools, everything is going to be given by us. What is personal to you is your traits, which we can't imbibe in you. We can only guide. And if you're mentally ready to be in this, you are going to be a great coach. And that's what makes a, just a someone who is just referring or claiming themselves as a coach, and those who are actually doing professional coaching. That's what makes them different. Their own personal excellence, right? Other things though will be common, which we will be sharing commonly to all. but few of you will become great ones, right? And that's what makes you different. So we'll be resuming this discussion tomorrow, and we will start with ALPs, adult learning principles, and that will be a very good perspective, right? So thank you. My internet was not working, but tomorrow it will be okay for sure, right?
Okay.
And
Good
see
night.
you. See
Thank
you
you
at
so much.
7 o'clock,
Thank you,
and
sir.
Please,
Good night.
please
Thank you
share
so much.
the parenting books.
I'll share books for sure. I'll share.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Good night.
So
Thank
much,
you.
sir.
Thanks
Good
Thank
for
night.
you, sir. Thank you for the
bearing with
class.
bad
Thank you
internet.
so
Yeah.
much.
Bye bye. Bye. Good night.
Thank you
Good
so
night,
much.
sir. Thank you so much.